continue. So, so today we are doing Jnana Karma Sanyasa Yoga, which is chapter 4. We did Karma Yoga in chapter 2. Krishna introduced 2 important points. One was Jnana Yoga, which is self-knowledge, and Karma Yoga, which are practices, rituals and duties of individuals. To get this knowledge, self-knowledge, the mind needs to be eligible. To be eligible, Karma Yoga is a must. In chapter 3, Karma Yoga was described elaborately. All actions must be performed with Karma Yoga attitude. Jnana Yoga is not attainable without Karma Yoga. It is a step-by-step progressive path. Duties must be performed without expecting a desired result as an offering to the divine, that is Arpana Buddhi. Desired prompted actions are also allowed without any restriction in early stages, like watching movies, get together, celebrations, traveling, pilgrimage, but accept the results as a gift from God. Say, for example, I go to a movie theater and it's all full, no tickets available. And somebody says, oh, I can't make it. I have 2 tickets. Would you like to take it? We will buy it. And they may charge double. We may still buy it. That's a blessing, So we take that as a prasad, whatever comes in life, from simple event to anything in life. So that's one thing. Then share that outcome with others. Even when an individual has a pure mind, that is without any negativity towards anybody, anything, any situation, any other person, it is one's duty to perform all actions with Karma Yoga attitude as a role model for others. May it be in a family or in a society. No human can exist without any action. Having taken the human body, its body is always performing actions, bound by activities. Inaction is not an option. Inaction here is not acting. Perform all actions with Karma Yoga attitude, meaning as an offering to worship to divine, and accept the result as a gift. Finally, the desire is the cause of all sufferings. That's the enemy that takes humans to deep hole, the struggles and sorrows. Thus ends chapter 3. Now, chapter 4 has got 42 verses. Krishna, verses 1 to 3, Krishna says, the knowledge that I'm going to impart on you today has come down for generations. I gave it to son, deity, Vivaswan. His name is Vivaswan, and he gave it to Manu. Manu gave it to his son Ikshavahu. Even great kings knew this knowledge and they practiced it. Like sage Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya king, and later he became a rishi with this self-knowledge. This reminds me of the book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. You should buy it and read it. He was in US. He was a great lawyer. His one-day suit for his court was $3,000, and he had a Ferrari. Then at one point, he left everything and went to India to learn this knowledge. So this knowledge develops that vairagya. This is all nothing in this universe. Everything is just a flattery for a few years. That's it. So what is the purpose of life? So this knowledge was very famous and very popular, but over time, as straightforward, honest, sincere, principled, unbiased people were going down. They were becoming less and less. this spiritual knowledge also appears to have weakened. We can see that how many people come to this path. But this was in Dwapara Yuga. Now we are in Kali Yuga. So Krishna says that in that year, that time. So whenever objective, impartial, open-minded population goes down, there tends to be favoritism, bias. So it's very rare to see such an open-minded, objective individual. Adi Shankara in his Bhashyam, in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita, says, whenever there are many choices, people get confused and we are distracted. We experience that all the time. Today, if you want to go and get a toothpaste, there are 100 varieties. You want to buy one cell phone, there are 100 varieties. Just a medicine for headache. You've got Aleve, Motrin, Tylenol, Ibuprofen, Advil. Why so many? When you get so many varieties of everything around you, you don't know what to do, right? So Arjuna, you are my devotee and you are my friend. I will teach you. Arjuna asks a question in verse 4. Krishna, you are my age. You are born to Vasudeva and Devaki now. How could you have taught these things to in the early stages to Vivaswan, which is sun deity, eons ago? Sun is always there. So Krishna responds in verse 5. Arjuna, you and I have gone through several births, many lives. I know it all, but as a jiva, you are not aware of them. For a jiva, if you look at it, our senses are always in the present. You cannot hear what you heard yesterday. It is gone. You cannot see what you saw yesterday. You can see the same thing again, but you saw it once. That situation, what you heard last class, you cannot hear it again unless we do it again. It is going to be again. It is not the first time. So senses are always in the present. And mind goes past and future. But again, in this birth alone. So Krishna continues, in my previous incarnation, I taught him. The concept of avatar, incarnation, is mentioned only in this text, Gita, and only in this verses 5 and 6, nowhere else. Whenever righteousness, he says, verse 6, whenever righteousness goes down and the unrighteousness is on the rise, I will appear to balance it. This is an important verse. I will incarnate to protect the righteous and to attack the unrighteous. You can see there are several realist people, Jesus, Allah, Krishna, Shankara, Kabir, all are avatars. They are all realist ones. Avatar incarnation. We know the difference between incarnation and reincarnation. We will come to that. So far, the concept of, we have been talking about logical, intellectually. Now, from the spiritual meaning, for a jiva to be born, there are two aspects that needs to come in contact. One is vyashti karma, which is individual karma. Another one is samashti karma, which is collective karma. So if a child needs to be born to a particular parent is based on the child's karma, consequences of the child's actions in the past. And samashti karma is of the parents to have such a child. These two need to go together to be in synchronization. There are no accidents. So a particular parent has a particular child based on their both karmas together. Because think about it, today we are all meeting, we are all from different parts of the world. We have never met, we have never seen. This, your karma and my karma has brought us together. So we come across many individuals on the street, shopping, malls, to schools, work. But to connect, to interact is based on the karma. Otherwise, we do not spend maybe, hello, how are you? Good morning, have a good day. That's it. So this is Jiva's bonded life. In an avatar, there is no Vyashti karma, which is the individual, because Nirguna Brahman has no merits or demerits, papam or punya. Nirguna Brahma is choosing to take a form for the benefit of the society, community, and that is avatar. There are hundreds of references in scriptures on avatars. There was one example he gives in verse 6 is there was one demon king called Hiranyakashyap who did intense penance and got a boon. His request was, I should not be killed by a man or an animal, not at night, not during the day, neither inside a building nor outside the building. He got what he asked for. Whatever we ask, we'll get it. But the consequence, we have to face the consequence as well. So with that, he abused his power, committed atrocities towards people. At that time, Krishna or Nirguna Brahman took an avatar called Narasimha avatar. Nara means human, Simha means lion. And he took that avatar at dusk. It was not a morning, daytime, it was not night. And he came in a pillar, in a porch. It's neither inside the house nor outside the house, and destroyed him, saving the innocents. So Nirguna Brahma has no likes or dislikes. Avatar appears wherever there is a need. Only in chapter 4, verse 6, avatar is described. Nowhere else. Because in verse 4, Arjuna asked a question, not knowing that Krishna himself is an avatar. So he responded here. As Nirguna Brahman, Krishna speaks here. I have no birth.
Ma'am, may I interrupt, ma'am?
Yes.
In fact, you gave me a great insight 4 or 5 minutes before when you talk about the senses. And what my understanding is that all the time we have been using senses to feed the mind, either to go in the past or in future. But you came out with a beautiful sentence that the senses are there only to fix you in the present. I can't hear what I heard yesterday. It has to be again. So senses can be used to remain in the present. All the time we have been using senses to feed the mind, to imagine about the future or go back into the past, ruminate the past. So in one sense, the body, the make up the body with the senses is there to help you to become aware of the present. And rather, the mind is misusing it to be away from the present. So the idea that senses are there only to fix you in the present, or senses can only be in present, is a great help to experience the moment.
Yes. So the mind, the senses are always in the present, gives the feedback, and the mind interprets what it gets, the message.
Yeah. Yes.
So you have.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Nirguna Brahma says here, as a Nirguna Brahma, Krishna is an avatar. So as Nirguna Brahma, he says, I have no birth or death. I am indestructible. I am God, that is generator, operator, dissolver of all beings. I appear wherever there is a need with my power, which is Maya. Maya is his power. Just like we all have walking power. Right now we are all sitting. It is dormant in us. We will know only when we start walking. It is an expression. Maya can be identified only by the expression. We can write. We all have the writing power, but it is dormant. When we start writing, when you see the written words, then you know you have that power. Right? So same thing with Maya is the power of Brahman. All beings are caught in this Maya illusion. and are born, but I use the same Maya as my power and I recreate myself. Verse 7 and 8, all actions that are performed for the benefit of common good that help the community are righteous actions. Actions that prohibit, prevent the progress of society are unrighteous, adharmic. Whenever unrighteous acts are on the rise, I take the avatar to protect the righteous beings and impair, sabotage the unrighteous ones. Humans are forced to take birth based on their consequence of their actions. And action here refers to thought, word, and deed. Every thought we think has got a consequence. So whereas divine presence chooses to take the form for the benefit of society. Verse 8, just like we protect our valuables, there is an absolute need to protect those who lead a dharmic life. Only then righteousness will prevail. And therefore those who are unrighteous needs to be curtailed, diminished, and abated. Just like we remove the weeds from the garden so that the plant can grow in a healthy fashion. Just like an organ, a toe or an ankle or a foot in a diabetic patient is amputated in the serious diabetic patient to protect the individual, the whole. Just like we quarantine a COVID patient or an individual with infectious disease to protect the family. When the unrighteousness is growing, it is in an ascent in a society. War, flood, famine, natural calamities, they all appear and occur. So humans can pause and detour. Only during struggles and sufferings we reflect and detour. Only when humans are challenged, we think of the higher power. Then we surrender. When we have extreme difficulty. Oh my God, can you help me? Otherwise, we don't. I take the form with Maya as my power. That Maya is in my control. But jivas and individuals are caught by this Maya, which is a glamour. I choose to take a form. Humans are forced to take a form. Krishna says, I will appear as and when needed in every yuga, in any form. Verse 9, if God is all forgiving, graceful, why does he harm a few? That is the question. An individual is unrighteous mainly because of why? Because of his power, or wealth, or physical strength, or position, or people who can support. Duryodhana was a prince, son of an emperor, had all the power, was using them against Pandavas. If he was not destroyed, things could be far worse. It also means that we support, accept, acknowledge atrocities. Silence gives consent. Active resistance to evil is important. He was subjected to death. It is like saying, enough of this body for you. So you do not continue in this path of unrighteousness. It is an act that is beneficial for the individual and the society. I am not a jiva like you, Krishna says. I have taken this human form as Krishna in this body. I have taken many avatars, and in earlier avatars, I taught this knowledge to Vivaswan. That answers the question to Arjuna. Chapter 2, we had Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, both were introduced. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga was elaborately explained. Chapter 4, Jnana Yoga is elaborately getting explained. Whoever knows, understands my avatar, my true nature, attains liberation. Those who worship the form, name and form attain punya, merit, meaning they also enjoy their happiness in Brahma Loka or Swarga Loka, but need to return to this earth, which is called karma root, karma bhumi, until this knowledge is gained again and again and again. this is possible only through Jnana Yoga. I am beyond merits and demerits, it says Nirguna Brahman. And that one in Atman, in each and every being, and that Nirguna Brahman, both are one and the same. If the question comes up, are there any who have realized the Supreme, to which Krishna responds in verse 10? It is not easy to know the avatar, even if the avatar is standing right in front of you. Only very few can recognize. Those who have pure thoughts, meaning without likes and dislikes. I like this person, I hate that person, he said this, she said this. These are all the inability to see the one in all. With self-knowledge alone, a jiva can know me. Jnana tapasa, he says, many knew me by the elimination of the attachment, anger. What is anger? The fear of losing something. The thought that my happiness is affected because of external factors is the fear. And with a single pointed focus, constant, consistent meditation, they have realized me, realized the self. Now the question for verse 11, with billions of people, only few realized you. Why not all? Krishna says, it all depends upon what they are seeking. Those who pray for power, I will give them the power. Those who pray for wealth, I will give them the wealth. Those who pray for freedom from the worldly sufferings, I will give them that. Those who are praying for health, long life, I will give them. I will give whatever is asked for. I do not decide what to give and whom to give. Any human, irrespective of any differences that appear to be, I give what they ask for. Those who seek spiritual path and liberation, I offer that to them. Eventually, all beings reach me in any number of births. This verse, next one. This entire galaxy, everything operates in Dharma. That is, you can see Dharma here refers to things that hold together, nature, rules and laws of nature. All planets, think about it, just think for a few seconds. All the planets are rotating around the sun. They don't clash with each other. There's always, when there is a famine, it doesn't last forever. When there is a flood, it doesn't last forever. The destruction doesn't happen. Around you, we have so many powers: electricity, magnetism, gravity, light, heat, sound. Varnas is one. He said, this is all I introduced. I created all this. Varnas in Sanskrit, when you read in Hindi or Tamil or other language, Varna means color. He's not talking about color. People, when we don't know, we misinterpret it. Varnas in Sanskrit means aptitude, personalities. Verse 13 is the most important verse, one of the most important verse. The most important verse, totally misunderstood verse for 200, 300, 400 years, for 4, 5, 6 generations. Varnas are different from castes. Caste was created by the British during the invasion for divide and rule. Varnas are applicable to the entire humanity, no matter where you come from, no matter what religion you belong to, beyond borders. Ignorance, not understanding the intent and meaning, associate Varnas with birth. Neither in Gita nor in any scripture text it is mentioned that it is based on birth. Nowhere. If someone says I am born as Brahmin, find out where it is from, which verse, which text. It talks about There are 4 Varnas, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. These are based on personalities, aptitudes, gunas, and actions. Humanity is not classified into division. They are not divided. Varna's system does not reflect bifurcation of society, but enables to follow one's role in a society. Misunderstanding is the biggest problem in a society, resulting in conflict and chaos and among people in the society. No one is superior or no one is inferior according to any of the scriptures in Sanatana Dharma. It is the mindset, it is the mental attitude and misunderstanding of a few that has led to the state of blind leading a blind and mass thinking, resulting in not just dislike, but hatred, animosity, discrimination, aversion, hostility among people. Further into segregation, enslavement, coercing, oppression, confusion, and chaos in the entire society in the world. Because Varnas must be understood very clearly. If I say sweet, sugar is sweet. If I take the sweetness, sugar, you cannot call it sugar. If I take out the sourness from the salt, you cannot call it sourness. We often say, this is who I am, or that is his nature. Therefore, Varna's verse 13 should be understood. Varna system is based on gunas. It was not created, it is based on gunas. It was created based on gunas. Gunas means aptitude, quality, attribute, tendency. The attitudes of the mind and karma, actions by the body, mind, and intellect. Definitely not by birth. Nowhere in any scripture it is mentioned that it is by birth. Our body, mind, and intellect are made of 5 elements. These gunas are also part of nature, prakriti. Sattva guna expresses as knowledge, wisdom, peace, calmness, composure, stable, and logical, critical, analytical thinking. Rajoguna is activities, daring, risk taker, agitation of anxiety, lots of desires, pride, jealousy, fear, anger, short-tempered, type A personality, always on the run to accomplish, to achieve. That is Rajoguna. Tamoguna is the mind filled with lethargy, sadness, grief, not self-motivated, but will act upon told. We can see this in teenagers. I remember my mom used to tell me when I was waking up late, she would say, just get up and move, because I was lethargic. Lethargic to Rajoguna. Next, be active. These 3 qualities are in every being at varied proportion. Think about it. I am, in my personal observation, I am a morning person. I wake up at 4:30. 4:30 to 7:30, 8:30, I study all this, read all this. I am in Sattva Guna. Calm, nothing disturbs at that time. No anger, no agitation, no anxiety. Sattva Guna. After 9 o'clock, I got to get ready and go here, do this, do that all day. I'm in Rajoguna. When I come back and sit in the sofa, I say, my God, I'm exhausted now. I don't want to do anything. I'm just watching TV and just nothing goes in. But that is going on and I'm just sitting idle. That is Tamoguna. It is in all beings at different levels. These qualities, these gunas, will help humans to pursue their interest. We need to self-assess our own personalities, gunas, as to which one is predominant in us. Am I always on the run? Am I always lethargic? Am I always in Sattva Guna? What is it? We have to self-assess. That only in spirituality we can self-assess. It's not about anybody else. It's not about anybody else's opinion about me. It is me. I try to understand who verse 13, line 1, he says, when one is purely in Sattva Guna at all times, never get angry, never agitated, not disturbed by anything that is happening outside, that person is Sattva Guna. That person is a Brahmin. Scriptures does not say Brahmin has this quality, but those who have this quality is a Brahmin. There's a big difference. It's not Brahmin has this quality. Those who have this quality is a Brahmin. It can be a street sweeper too. He's doing it for his paycheck. But he may be calm and quiet and helpful and supportive and always at all times. So these qualities, those who have this quality is Brahmin, irrespective of nation, religion, profession, status, or age. This must be clearly understood. In spite of studying scriptures for several years, performing rituals for several years, this is not understood and this is not practiced widely in the society. One who knows Brahman is Brahmin. Now, more Rajoguna and little Sattva Guna is Kshatriyan, because he has to act. Only then he can be a warrior, Kshatriya, right? But at the same time, he is not doing it for personal benefit, he is doing it for the nation. That is Sattva Guna, doing it for the common good. So more Rajoguna and little Sattva Guna is Kshatriyan. More Rajoguna and little Tamoguna is Vaishyan. That means he's active, he's doing everything, business, but at the same time, he is doing it for his self-profit. He gives jobs to many people. He does buying from vendors and selling and helping people, helping community. Everything is happening, but he is doing at the same time for profit. So that is Vaishyan. More Tamoguna and little Rajoguna is Shudra. So in line 1, he says, I created them all. In line 2, he says, even though I created them, I did not do anything. Seems very contradictory between line 1 and line 2 of verse 13. I am beyond modification, beyond any changes, indestructible. I am not the doer. Karta is the doer, one who acts, performs. Akarta is a non-doer. Krishna is taking us from Varnas to next step, which is self-knowledge. So in verse 13, line 2 starts Jnana Yoga. From line 2 to verse 24. So in chapter 2, all jivas were divided into Atma and Anatma, Chaitanyam and body, mind, and intellect. Atma is imperishable, ever-existence. Anatma is bound to destruction, constantly changes, comes and goes. Atma is the witness. Anatma operates, functions. Atma cannot be axed, killed, and does not kill anyone. Then who then acts? Who enjoys the benefits? Anatma. Anatma is what? The gross body with dimensions. Height, weight, color, everything. Stula Sharira, gross body. The mind is Sukshma Sharira with 17 parts, senses and intellect. These function. The Stula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira, they function. Atma, the inner presence. Self is the witness. Now the question comes, if Atma self does not function, what is the point of its existence? Why should Atma be there? Everything acts because of its presence. Mind and body are vitalized because of its presence. The body is energetic because of that presence. The body and mind experiences the consequences of actions because of that presence. Think about this body. If the Atma is not in this body, nothing will happen. The body will not function. The mind will not function. There will be no energy. And there is no consequences. Nothing happening, nothing, no consequences. If the Atma is not there. Right? If you apply the same question at the macrocosmic level, the imperishable Nirguna Brahman is the indestructible, undefinable, and Maya as the illusion. Again, Atma and Anatma. The two together is Brahma, Ishwar. This Brahma is the deity which is with four, non-Mukha Brahma, that is the creator, which is different from the Nirguna Brahman. Brahman is different from Brahma. Brahma is the generator, one of the three, Trinity. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. It's like CEO, CFO, and the COO in a company. You can call the company name XYZ, which you cannot see. It is just a name. But the three top are the functionalities. They function, they do the functions, right? Exactly the same. So, imperishable Nirguna Brahman, Maya is the illusion, and these two together is Ishvara Brahma. This Nirguna Brahman with Maya creates everything. This Brahma is aware of himself. I am Nirguna Brahma. Creates this world full of activities, whereas a Jiva is not aware of himself, even though he is Atman. And therefore keeps coming back in the cycle or whirlpool of birth and death. The world will never end. As long as people think I am here, I'm doing this, I'm getting this, I'm contributing, and we think, associate ourselves with this body, mind, and intellect, the life is going to keep coming back. It's a vicious cycle, keep on coming. World will never end. Verse 14, I am the creator, sustainer, and dissolver. But actions do not bind me, as I am not doing anything with a focus on the results of those actions. Brahma also acts. Humans also act. Krishna says, I have no attachments to the results of actions, and therefore I am not bound. Arjuna, you also act in the same way, in a similar fashion. Do it because it must be done, not because you get something out of it. One who knows, understands the inner presence, the Atman, as I, not this body, mind, and intellect, will also act without the ego, desirelessness. At that point, there is no acquiring of any consequences. Therefore, there is no bondage. Think about it. We are all passengers in this journey called life. We come naked, we go naked. We own everything, we own nothing. Arjuna, he says, Krishna says finally, Arjuna, do your duty. Those realized souls did not renounce the actions, but the results of the actions. The thought that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the sufferer, that I am not the sufferer, I am ever happy. This body is suffering. This body is going through the pain. Atma and Brahman, Atmajnana and Brahmajnanam are one and the same, says Krishna. Verse 15, there are several realized ones. They still are engaged in activities. They did not renounce their actions, not inactive, but ownership of those actions. Krishna here focuses on a deep, subtle subject topic, action versus inaction. Inaction is absence of action. It is actionlessness, which is, when we translate it in English, oftentimes it changes the meaning. It is karma versus akarma. Karma is action. Akarma is inaction, which is actionlessness. Now, the question is, what is the benefit of knowing this? Once you know this, you are free from all sorrows of this world. and that is liberation, nirvana, moksha. Krishna again emphasizes that this topic is very difficult to grasp, understand. As a preamble, prelude, prologue, he is just introducing this new topic. Even those who have performed rituals for years, those who have studied scriptures for years, have not understood this clearly. He says, he introduces 3 words, karma, akarma, and vikarma. Vikarma is, we are not discussing vikarma, those actions that are completely prohibited in scriptures. Karma and akarma. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is wise, is a jnani. Such an individual is a sage, a yogi, Shankara, Ramana, and many more. Further, he explains with 2 examples. What is akarma and karma and akarma? He's giving 2 examples. One is when you are traveling in a train, the stationed trees, posts, train stations all appear to move. They are all stationary, but they appear to move. That is karma in akarma. Action in inaction. Second example is, say you go to a beach, you're standing in the water, and far away you see a ship. The ship that you see appears to be stationary, when in fact it is moving. That is akarma in karma. Inaction in action due to ignorance. The stationary tree appears to be moving, and the moving ship appears to be not in action. Such defective, mistaken, faulty vision could cause us misunderstand many things. For example, the earth is rotating, revolving, but we don't see that way. We think it is stationary. We say the sun is rising and sun is setting all the time. Sun doesn't rise or set. It may be moving at a very slow pace, but the earth's rotation makes it appear that the sun is rising and setting. That is what is causing the day and night. See how we see? Therefore, in life, it is not necessary that what is in action needs to appear in action as action, and what is not in action needs to appear as inactive. Hope this is getting clearer. Krishna further continues, as mentioned in chapter 2, that every human is of Atma and Anatma. Atma is the inner presence, which is akarma. Anatma is body, mind, and intellect, which is karma that acts in the presence of self. Not knowing that I am Atma, the supreme presence. An ignorant man says, I am doing this, I am listening, I am eating, I am suffering, I am experiencing merits and demerits. When I, in fact, is inactive presence. All actions are superimposed on that Atman. Upon realization, I am that, he is convinced that I am not acting. I'm not performing anything, but everything is getting done through this body, mind, equipment, because of my presence. I am akarta. I do not experience pain or pleasure. Nothing affects I. I do not have the consequences of actions, no merits or demerits. A realized one, even though is performing, acting, the body, mind, equipment is functioning, and I am the witness, he says. When you walk, I am not walking. I am all pervasive. My feet are walking. When the eyelids open in the morning, it is opening because of that presence in this body. Otherwise, it won't open. So seeing the inactivity in yogis' actions. Kanchi Shankaracharya or Sringeri Acharya, when they perform pujas, we sit here as an audience and watch them. We say the Swamiji is doing puja, but for that Swamiji, he thinks this body is only acting. I am not acting, I am a karta. Because they know that they are not acting. Only the body, mind, and intellect acts. Therefore, there are no merits and demerits. You know, in my early teens, like 1820, when in Bombay, I used to think of Ramana's picture. I used to look at Ramana's picture and think, why doesn't he even cover his body? Because I was a teenager. I was ignorant. From his perspective, this body is not his. It's not the body. Body is just another thing, like another layer, like a shirt. I wear. I go without banyan, without shirt. I put it on. That's what his perspective. But I was ignorant. So what we see, we ought to see that inaction in action, in activity. Next one is action, that is inactivity, action in inaction. An ignorant has no concept, knowledge of Atma. He knows only the body, mind, and the world. When the body, mind, equipment is acting, he says, I am working, I am busy. Now, when the same person is sitting quietly, you give a call to somebody, are you busy? No, I'm just sitting quietly. I'm just sitting, no, nothing. But when sitting quietly, he says, I am free. I'm not doing anything. Krishna says, see the action in that body, mind, equipment, because it is always in action. Sitting is an action. Sleeping is an action. Seeing is an action. Not seeing is also an action. See the action in that inactivity. The gist is, Atma is a karta, whereas body, mind is always active. People think that spirituality means renounce everything, go somewhere, sit in solitude. That is not true. That is a misunderstood concept. Scriptures say that for beginners. We tell our children, go to your room and do your homework, because living room is busy. Things are happening. That is for single-pointed focus to attention. So wherever you go, your body and mind will always be functional. At home, you interact with family members. But when you take a renunciation, go and outside, you have to go to different homes for bhiksha. You have to talk, you have to interact. And somebody may not give you anything. Then you may get angry because you are hungry. Therefore, Krishna says, know yourself, know who you are. You are the witness of all these actions of this body, mind, intellect. Krishna, karma, actions, and all activities are part of nature, prakriti, maya, illusion. You, Atma, Brahman, one alone is actionless. In its presence, all activities happen. We have read that in Atma Bodha. Just like the sun's presence, all animals go for hunting. Birds bloom, birds chirp, humans get active. Or a boss, when the boss is in his office, everyone is working. When the boss is out in a different building, you can see the difference. Just his presence, because of that presence, everything is functioning. How does one attain moksha, liberation, by this self-knowledge? We often consider our inner peace and our contentment is based on the external factors. Say when we are in a noisy, crowded situation, traffic, honking, loud music, our mind gets agitated. And we say, I'm not in peace, it's too loud. Or when we are in nature, near the water body, oh, I am at peace. It's a peaceful here. The calmness of the body and mind and external situation defines the inner peace. The activities of the body and mind, the thoughts, To-do list causes agitations, anxiety. And I say, I'm not at peace. I'm stressed. I'm tensed. Whether the universe world around me is calm or bustling with activities, I am still not involved with any of them. The entire galaxy is always in action, consistent activities at both microcosmic and macrocosmic levels. But I am not connected with, I am not involved in any of those activities. In the early stages, people tend to look for a calm, quiet location. That's a practice, sadhana, to help us focus on the self. That is what meditation is. You focus on the self. But once we reach the stage of realization, I am that, aham brahmasmi, one experiences stillness, even if the external situation is chaotic, full of turbulence, and is not disturbed. When we are in the family, lots of responsibilities, activities keeps on happening around us. And in the body, we need to be able to see that Atman, the actionlessness, the inaction in those activities when the body is involved. Atman, the inner presence, is the witness of all those activities. That self is ever still observer, not a part of any activity. It is akarta, actionless. Anatma, universe is always active. Body, mind, and intellect always functional. Self, I am, is unaffected by any of this, akarta. Therefore, the consequences, there are no consequences for actions too. All the consequences are only for the body and mind. One who realizes this is referred to as krita kritya. That is not for that jiva or in a realized person. There's nothing more to do in life. He has attained the purpose of life, human existence. Such an individual is a sage, sannyasi, renunciate. Chapter 5 has more about on this sannyasi. He renunciates all actions with knowledge. The knowledge is, I am akarta. This body and mind is performing, working, acting. That is why it is Jnana Karma Sanyasa Yoga. Renunciation of the worldly actions, the ownership of all actions with this knowledge. This does not mean he doesn't do anything. He is very much functional, but has renounced the thought that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Everything is getting done through these tools that I have, body, mind, and intellect. That is the symbolism of flute, Krishna's flute. A flute with 9 holes, the body with 9 holes. Is a hollow tube. This one is a hollow tube. His music flows through. Such a sage is convinced that he is a witness. He may still be in a family environment with this attitude and with this self-knowledge. His hermit lifestyle. It's a hermit lifestyle in family situation. He doesn't have to go out to wilderness. Such jivas are always ever in peace. They are not perturbed by any situation. They do not acquire any merits and demerits. Akarma, actionless, is not visible from outside. It is inside. It is an attitude. It is a mindset. Referred as nitya triptaha. That means ever in peace and bliss. They are not attached to the results of actions, but they do everything as duty. Such an individual is free and does not need to depend on anyone. He is mentally akarma. There is an example he gives. Vyasa was near the Yamuna river, and all the Gopika trees, they made a lot of food for him to serve him with butter and milk and vegetables and everything. He ate. He asked, okay, give me that more, give me that more, and he ate everything. Then he said, if the fact that, and they had to, all of them had to cross the Yamuna river. If the fact that I did not eat anything is true, please give us a path. And the river split into two, making a walkway. Gopis were surprised. He just ate. That is seeker's perspective. But Vyasa offered it to the self. That is Jnani's perspective. He did not think I ate it. This is akarma in karma. We all need to develop that mindset. Whatever we do, I am not acting. I am the witness of this body acting. Verse 21 and 22. A sannyasi who has renounced this doership and enjoyership has no desires, not jealous. He has not suppressed anything. He has sublimated, has no possessions, performs all actions, duties, and does not accumulate results. He is not attached to any wants. He is happy and content with whatever he gets. He is beyond duality, plurality. Cold and heat doesn't bother him. Pain and pleasure is of the mind. When my body is hurting, my mind says, I'm hurting. The mind should say, this body is going through this change. I am not hurt. Insult and appreciation, that is for the intellect. That in Sanskrit, siddhi and asiddhi. He accepts everything as gift from God, equanimous in his attitude towards all. Doesn't mean he is lazy, lethargic, or depressed. He puts his efforts very diligently and accepts the results as they come. He has no attachment to the results, and therefore he is not bonded. So here in verse 24, he concludes Jnana Yoga. Now, now we are going to 24, which is also important. Traditionally, this verse is chanted before we eat. They call it pariseshana. What it means is Brahma karma. Eating itself is a Brahma karma. This is what Vyasa did in the banks of Yamuna. A jnani has a non-dual vision, Advaita Drishti. For a jnani, there are no differences, one alone is. Bodies may appear different, but Atma is only one in all appearances. In earlier days, there used to be homa or yaga, that is fire rituals of sacrifice were performed for the betterment of the humanity. Those days, priests were never asked anything for personal reasons. I want this, I want that. Now we have even Vyasa temples in India. I heard there are 6 Vyasa temples. You can go there and ask for Vyasa, pray for Vyasa. But those days we did pray, all prayers were done only for the betterment of the community, society, for the world. Let there be rain for everyone. Let everybody be happy. Let everyone be peaceful. That was the goal. So to perform any ritual, fire ritual, 5 things are necessary. One is karta, the owner who is performer. Karma, the sacrificing entity. You have to sacrifice something. In a yaga, it was either ghee or yogurt, curd. It is called havis. Karanam is the ladle, the spoon with which we pour it. Then Adaram is the Agni, onto where you pour ghee. That is fire. Benefit is the result. A jnani, a realist, one sees all 5 as one. Now, the example he uses is, eating is a nitya karma, daily duty. We all have to eat. The body cannot sustain without food. Jnani sees this as a yajna, as a sacrifice. How? Sacrificing the material symbolizes the sacrificing that we do. Ego is what we are sacrificing. When we do namaskaram, prostration, we are surrendering completely the ego. Now here, the example he gives, the eating is a nitya karma. The food I eat is Brahman. The process of eating is Brahman, an offering to the fire deity within. The hand that does the eating is also, that acting is also Brahman. The one who performs this act, karta, is also a Brahman. Benefit is subsides anger. I, Brahman, the food that is Brahman, is taken by the hand which is Brahman and offered to the fire within which is Brahman to remove the hunger which is also Brahman. This is referred as Prana Agni Hotram. Prana Agni Hotram. This the fire god, fire deity, Prana. So offering to the deity of Prana, breath. That's why if you look at it, in Indian languages, we never say you. Most of the time it is eliminated. Did you eat? They never ask. In any language, khana ho gaya, uta ita, chapta cha. They always say, has the food been eaten? We use more of passive language in India because we don't claim I. That I is often eliminated. The emphasis on passive language. I had to change from passive language to active language active words when I came to this country, because the you and I are never emphasized there. The usage of I is minimum. That I refers to ego. So that is what verse 24 is. Everything is Brahman. The Jnani looks everything as Brahman. Verse 25, Krishna mentions different types of ritual practices performed by different people. Some do prayers, worship daily throughout the year. Every family does this. Some follow fasting, or the mauna, that is, which is silent for the day, or live only on water for 1 day in a week or something like that. Some are watchful of what they feed their senses, self-control, self-discipline. This reminds me of Gandhi's three monkeys. Signifies see only good, listen only good, and speak only good. Righteous living, that is righteous living. Meditation, dhyanam and japam, chanting, charity to help the needy. Those who are poor, their life itself is fasting. So they could get involved in reading or listening or something else, some other form of worship. Some are involved in yoga, others chant and listen to scriptures. Verse 29, he says, some perform pranayama, which is control of breath. Breathing out slowly for an extended period of time. Breathing in, holding on to the breath inside for extended period of time. Breathe out slowly and gradually. There are three different types of pranayama. There are few who are disciplined with their diet. They do not eat in restaurants, or they eat only warm foods, or they do not eat anything in between meals, or some do not eat onion or garlic. All this will have wonderful life here in this birth and after death. Disciplined life always brings benefits. This is no magic, right? Those who do not have a disciplined life could experience physical and mental disturbing. There are multitudes of sadhanas mentioned in scriptures. We cannot do it all. It could even confuse us as to which one to follow. Krishna says all are good, but there is something beyond all these rituals, and that is Jnana Yoga, self-knowledge. He does not belittle or discredit all these rituals. But these are stepping stones, basic steps for evolution. Not understanding is not underestimating or downplaying these rituals at all. Humans take birth to gain knowledge, not to accumulate stuff. Self-knowledge is highly beneficial, and all rituals must culminate into self-knowledge. The more we accumulate, the more anxiety they cause. After a certain point, they are all a burden. Self-knowledge leads to liberation, moksha. Things bind us to the world. Self-knowledge gives us the inner peace and contentment. Therefore, all practices finally manifest into self-knowledge. There's a symbolism of candle and camphor. They are symbolic representation of nothing is left in this life journey to attain from birth to death. The purpose of human existence is to realize the self, which is one without a second, and is in all appearances, in all embodiments. We are all, as Jiva, we are all co-travelers. We just have to realize that I am that. I have no birth, I have no death. These things are happening around me. Now, what is Jnana Yoga? What is self-inquiry? Trying to know that inner peace. Human, as we have seen earlier, do rituals, prayers, go to temples, church, mosque, fasting, meditation. But if you ask them, who is God? Where is God? What is the relationship do you have with God? What is the connection between God and world? Many have no answers. Humans have detoured for several generations. In today, 2023, children would ask because they are exposed, they are born with science and technology, and parents have no answers. My daughter asked me 25 years ago when my husband passed away. She said, Mom, you say God, God, God. Who is God? Where is God? If God was there, he would have saved my dad. I lost my dad. All my friends have dads. I couldn't answer 25 years ago. I didn't know. So we have to know this. We have to know what it is. Prayer, meditation, fasting, yoga, silence do not need much of thinking, analyzing, but self-knowledge involves a lot of contemplation. It is a DIY program. Do it yourself. It cannot be taught. It has to come from within. Self-inquiry. What is the purpose of life? Why am I born? In self-inquiry, there are no sacrifices except the negation of ignorance. So far in chapter 4, avatar was described, incarnation was described elaborately. Jnana, karma, sanyasa yoga, that is renunciation of actions with self-knowledge, meaning dissolution of ego. I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer. All practices, sadhanas, Krishna says, bhakti is devotion, profound dedication, adoration, intense reverence. But self-knowledge is the greatest devotion. Why? In all the ritual practices that we adore self without knowing, without the knowledge of who God is. In self-knowledge, we know the Supreme. We understand who and where the divine presence is. That divine presence is in all appearances. Everything that is heard, seen, smelled, touched, tasted, is all that one without a second. This verse number 34 responds to how should I and from whom should I acquire this self-knowledge? Many in the entire humanity are not even aware of that such a knowledge exists. Will meditation give me that knowledge? Will community service give me that knowledge? Will performing yoga or pranayama give me that knowledge? What is the path? I want to know, and I don't know where to get. Verse 34, he says, how should a seeker be? With humility and serving to Guru. Learn from the learned. This self-knowledge cannot be taught, cannot be attained without a Guru, especially Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. With secular knowledge, the world knowledges, you can know everything about the world. You can talk about all the stars, underwater animals, corals and reefs and psychology, philosophy, whatever you read. You can, but with those worldly knowledge and preconceived notion that one has, the reader of these texts cannot make a head or tail of what he is reading. Even the knowledge of Sanskrit, or I know the translation, or it is in my mother tongue, without guidance of a teacher, there is not a possibility to understand. In contrast, it could lead to misunderstanding. Non-understanding is better than misunderstanding. Humility and service here refers to Shraddha, reverence and respect towards scriptures and Guru. Guru here, let's take Shankara or Krishna and Krishna. Without these two, reverence and respect, even Guru's teaching would only be words, not the content. Understanding will not happen. Now that leads to who is a Guru? Who is qualified to be a Guru? Guru's lineage, Parampara Guru, he calls. Guru should have been a student, a pupil, a seeker under a guidance of a Guru, who was again a student of another Guru. 3-generational Guru must have studied scriptures under a Guru. This way the knowledge comes exactly as is from instructor without personal opinions. The examples might change depending on the time frame, but the content will be intact. The second important criteria for a Guru is Guru must walk the talk. Practice what he teaches, not just be a preacher. He should be convinced and stay firm in that knowledge. His life, behavior, actions, thought, word, and deed must be in alignment with scriptures of what he is teaching. Now, verse 35 and 37, what is the benefit of self-knowledge? Once you gain self-knowledge, you will not be succumbed to delusion. You'll be able to have a clear, objective decision. You'll be able to make it. You are not confused. What is right? What is wrong? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Arjuna was in attachment, sorrow, and delusion as to not knowing what to do. His fear and sorrow were that Bhishma and Drona will die because he did not know Atma has no destruction. Atma has no birth, no death. Atma is ever present. You will be free. The second one is you will be free of all guilt. Unknowingly, we might have committed wrong things in younger stages of life. And as we get older, all this will be recalled by the mind, leading to guilt and heaviness. All the good things that we did will not come to our mind. All the bad things that we have committed inadvertently, without knowing, that they will come and they will be a burden in our life. Sri Krishna says, upon grasping this self-knowledge, whatever you have committed in the past, in this life, will be dissolved, both good and bad. So 3 benefits of self-knowledge. One is mohanasham, papanasham, karmanasham. Destruction of delusion, clear vision. Then second one is dissolution of sins of this birth. Third one, dissolution of sins of all the previous births. Krishna again highlights stresses on Shraddha, reverence, respect, and faith on scriptures and Guru. A seeker who is humble and have intense faith in scriptures and Guru will most definitely grasp this self-knowledge. Such an individual needs to still be aware of the glamour and manage the senses, or else could slide back again. This reminds me of the snakes and ladder I used to play with my grandma when I was little. Every time you go on the steps and go up, the snake will be there to slide you back. You want to be cautious of that. Never think that I know it all, because there is always a snake next to you to slide down. Self-realization could happen before shedding this current body or in the future birth. Verse 40, those who do not have faith, they go through the suffering of birth and death and in between. Krishna suggests, to listen to these Upanishadic scriptures from your guru, contemplate, inquire, clarify your doubts, and be convinced and do your duty. Chapter 4 summary. The concept of the avatar. Jnana, karma, sanyasa, yoga. Self-knowledge is ultimatum of all practices. It is an attitude. It is not the action. I am not the doer. I am not the enjoyer. Description of different practices, basics, elementary, yoga, yajna, for whom and how self-knowledge can be acquired. 3 major benefits of self-knowledge, importance of reverence, and ends with do your duty. Now I have a PowerPoint. I'll just share that. It should not take much, maybe another 5 to 7 minutes. Let me share that screen. Last session we ended with this one. Hope everyone can see it. So this is a body. The entire thing is a body, and Atma is there seated, Akarta. This is the intellect. The reins are the mind. The horses are the senses. Senses will take us to different routes, different directions. So the mind is pulling it back, and intellect, they both needs to be in control of the intellect. That is up. Now this is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga chapter 4. We know, we have seen this also. 4 yugas: Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Krita Yuga. In Krita Yuga came Narasimha avatar. And Treta Yuga, Rama avatar. Dwapara Yuga, Krishna avatar. So this yellow is Satya. This yellow is Satya Yuga, which is Krita Yuga. This is Treta Yuga. This is Dwapara Yuga, and the green is Kali Yuga. We are into 5,000 years right now. So all these 4 yugas is called as Chatur Yuga. Okay, let me take out that pointer. I don't know if this is helpful. So all this together, 4 is Chatur Yuga. So 1,000 Chatur Yuga is 1 day of Brahma. Another 1,000 Chatur Yuga is 1 day of and 1 night of Brahma. So 2,000 Chatur Yugas is 1 day and 1 night, and is called as 1 Kalpa. So during the day, 1,000 Chatur Yuga, the Srishti is happening. And during the 1,000 Chatur Yugas, it is Layam, Pralayam, Bija Avastha, nothing is happening at that time. Okay. Now assume this is 1,000 Chatur Yuga. Now, there are 14 Manus who ruled the universe in 1,000 Chatur Yuga. That means each Manu got 71.42 Chatur Yuga. Each Chatur Yuga, that one period of 71.42 Chatur Yuga is called as Manvantara. This is just information from what I learned, I'm sharing. You don't have to remember everything. We are currently in 7th Manvantara. This is first Manvantara. First Manu is named as Swayambhu Manu, and current ruler, which is Vaivastava Manu. Humanity is currently in Pratama Pade, first phase of Kali Yuga, and 28th Chatur Yuga. This is this one. Go all the way 28th Chatur Yuga. This Kalpam, the entire Kalpam, is called the Sveta Varaha Kalpa. And these are 14 Manu's names. This is available in internet. Srimad Bhagavatam gives you more in Bhagavad Gita also. Swayambhuhu, Swaraskosa, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata, Chaksuhu, Vaivastara, Savarni, Daksha Savarni, Brahma Savarni, Dharma Savarni, Rudra Savarni, Deva Savarni, and Indra Savarni. This is 14 Manu's names. Now Krishna gave the information, self-knowledge to son, Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to Manu, 7th Manu, and he gave it to his son Ikshvaku. So it has been a generational knowledge. Vishwamitra was a Raja Rishi, he was a king, he was a Kshatriyan. Then upon getting this knowledge, he became a sage. Valmiki is the one sage who wrote Ramayana. Now we are currently in this Kalpa and 7th Manvantara, 7th Manu in this Manvantara. We are in 7th Manvantara, 28th Kali Yuga. That is 28th, this is 28th Chaturu Yuga, 28th Chaturu Yuga we are in right now. So Krishna taught to this Manu, Swayambhu Manu. Krishna shared this knowledge in the first Chaturu Yuga to Surya during Treta Yuga. Okay. Now Sattva Guna refers to logic, analysis, knowledge, wisdom, calm, peace, conformity, and devotional. Rajoguna refers to activities. Oh, sorry, I went back. Activities, risk takers, agitation, anxiety, elation, pride, comparison, competition, anger, worry. Tamoguna, physically hard worker, unable to make decisions, follows instructions, implementers, diffident at times. Every human has all these 3 gunas, is classified based on these personalities. Okay. So Sattva Guna is a Brahmanan, priests, reverends, rabbi, professors, teachers, gurus, scholars, teachers, scientists, leaders. Rajoguna, more of Rajoguna, little of Sattva Guna is Kshatriyan, soldiers, mountain climbers, bungee jumpers, underwater rafters, overachievers, type A personality. More Rajoguna and little Tamoguna is creative, businessman, self-interest, calculative, share with others for personal good. That is Vaishya. Tamoguna is more of Tamoguna and little of Rajoguna is Shudras, laborers, including IT workers, because they follow instructions. They are not on their own. I just wanted to share this, which is applicable to the humanity. We don't want to say this is by birth, right? So some people with non-understanding, we say that. So workers who take orders and directions. Teachers also, to a certain extent, they take direction from higher up, but actually they are on their own towards students. Now, humans are not classified based on their birth. This is very important. Now, karma. What is karma? What is akarma? What is vikarma? Duty. Karma is duty based on stages of life, different 4 stages we have. Dharmic is righteous living, charity, 5 yajnas we have seen. Deva yajna, Rishi yajna, Pitru yajna, Nara yajna, and all in Bhuta yajna in chapter 3. Akarma is inaction, actions without ownership, actions with arpana and prasada buddhi. Vikarma is forbidden scriptures, adharmic, unrighteous, cheating, exploiting, abusing, no violence physically or mentally, no alcohol. Because Madhu Suram na pibe. Why? Because that alcohol, when taken in excess, it confuses the intellect. It affects the intellect, the decision-making faculty. So you don't know what is right, what is wrong. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing not doing the right thing? You don't know. So that is why they say that. So your intellect should be always strong. It should control your mind and senses. If that is deluded, then you cannot think. So inactivity, not doing anything, is not an option at all. You have to do it. And this is karma. Whatever good or bad, whatever you put in, it will come back to you. Karma versus akarma. Being and doing. Just be. This one, I don't know whether you can see. I don't know if you can see it. I just wanted to show you. Let's see if it comes. So what does it mean? It shows that the trees are moving. The trees appear to be moving. They are all stationary, but they appear to be moving. Karma in akarma, right? This is a ship at a distance. It appears to be stationary when it is moving. Akarma in karma. Now, this is Homa, Yagya, and Yaga. One-day performance, temple ceremonies, weddings, birthdays, funerals, all these things are Homa. Yagya is for personal needs. Child, we want a child, wealth, putra kameshti yoga, we can say all those, health, wealth, our reading, chanting, meditation, worship, this is all yagyas. Sometimes they do it for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 3 months, 3 years. Yagam is for the benefit of humanity. We want rain for the humanity, relief from flood and famine, betterment of society. That is all yaga. So yagam, yagyam, and homa. Now the verse 424, the performer, the sacrificing element, ghee or butter. This is the ladle that is using the spoon. Then agni, kundam, which is the fire pot, fire pit. Benefit is the consequence. You're getting whatever. I mean, it should be punya. Brahma havi, offering to divine. Eating is a yaga. It is a yagya. Eater is the Brahma, food is Brahma, and the hand is a Brahma, Agni from in the fire is a Brahma, offering to subside hunger. It is called Prana Agni Yotra. That I will share that. This is the last page. Krishna's guru was Sandipani. Krishna had a guru. Shankara had a guru. Shankara's guru was Govinda Bhagavad Pada. His guru was Gauda Padacharya. So Sri Rama's guru was Vasishta. Even when they took physical body, they had gurus. So that is very important. With that we stop. And Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.